Good evening. Welcome back to my no-name channel. I'm Bruce. This is another COVID-19 Bali update for January 8th, 2021. Oh, okay, and Happy New Year. I haven't been around for a few weeks on the COVID-19 updates. I kind of have coronavirus fatigue. I've talked so much about it lately that I took a week off instead of doing my weekly one and did a drone video that's up here. And so let's get into it. What's happening? Numbers for yesterday: 167 new cases, gives us 18,415 total, 16,680 recovered, 540 deaths, and 1,195 active cases. So our active cases are well up over 1,000 again. 166 of the new cases were Indonesians. One was a foreigner. No information on where that foreigner was from. 149 of the Indonesian cases were local, and 17 were from domestic imports. Right, so we've had domestic tourists coming in, like I've mentioned in the last COVID-19 report. And so, yeah, numbers are up, and so that's not good. And, well, it's led to some new government restrictions, and well, that's the first story. So, central government orders partial lockdown in Bali and Java as cases continue to surge. So, a new decree ordering partial lockdown in Bali and Java will take effect starting January 11th and run until January 25th. And as in everything in Indonesia, those numbers are flexible, fluid. They may change. Things change a lot. Well, not just here, everywhere. But yeah, here too. So the head of the COVID-19 Handling Committee and National Economic Recovery, Arlangga Hartanto, issued the decree. Said the partial lockdown will be implemented on the two islands and check off the four indicators which call for added measures. And these four indicators are: the death rate is higher than the national rate, 3%. The recovery rate is lower than the national recovery rate, 82%. The identified active cases are higher than the national active rate of 14%, and the occupancy of isolation rooms and ICU is above 70%. So the purpose of the partial lockdown, he said, is not to forbid any activities, but to limit potential crowding in public spaces. So it's to get social distancing. And I've talked about social distancing before, how hard it is to get people to do social distancing here. And so what are some of the things? Nothing's forbidden, he said, but what are some of the restrictions? Offices will operate at 25% capacity, so 75% are going to be online. I'm not sure how that's going to affect immigration, if you have to deal with immigration or any government offices. And yeah, I've been wanting to do it, but now I guess I'm just going to delay it until after the 25th. Schools. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about schools shortly. Schools are only online. Working hours of shopping malls and public transportation will be limited. Shopping malls, I think, are supposed to close around 7. Essential businesses such as grocery stores may operate as usual. Construction activities will be allowed to operate at 100%. I'm not sure why that is. Places of worship should have a 50% capacity limit and follow strict health protocols. Public facilities and sociocultural activities are temporarily suspended, and dine-in restaurants should be no more than 25% full. Additionally, Bali is making everybody coming over land to have their tests, and so yeah, this is the article calls it a partial lockdown, and there's a bunch of links to articles below here. There's a lot of press in the Indonesian language press, in the English language press about these lockdowns. Indonesia is getting serious again about this. They want to open tourism. They want to get international business going, and so they're, it's like the tide, it comes and goes, the seriousness. So that's yeah, and that starts on the 11th, okay, supposedly. And so well, what about opening up? So the new tourism minister, Pak Jokowi, changed a lot of ministers last week, and the new minister of tourism and creative economy, Sandiaga Uno, is being called on by the Bali tourism industry to restore the island's economy quickly. And people are hoping that Sandiago's reputation as a kind of a go-to guy, a smart businessman, will be able to jumpstart the island's economy. And according to the chairman of the Bali Villa Association, Paka Igede Sukarta, Bali tourism economy is in a state of collapse. He noted that Sandiaga will need help from many parties, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Justice and Human Rights, the Minister of Transportation, the Minister of Trade, and the Minister of State-Owned Enterprises. So just about and plus the local tourism players here. So just about everybody. And he also admitted that Bali is isolated from foreign visitors because of the closed travel borders everywhere in the world now, and that things do not look like they're going to open up in the near future, even though everybody wants them to. And you see some really irresponsible tweets, messages on Facebook and Instagram about Bali's going to open on the 13th. Bali's going to open at the end of the month. There is no official information about when Bali is going to open, regardless of what people tell you. When the government says it's going to open, then I believe it. When I see any report in the press, I take a look at what press it is, and then I check the government websites to see. So if you hear that it's open, I would advise you to go and check on a government website and see what they say. And separately, the chairman of the NPE wants Sandiaga to quickly coordinate with all tourism stakeholders to rebuild the tourist economy quickly. And he said that national tourism industry will be preceded by the restoration of the Bali tourism industry. So Bali tourism industry has to develop first, and then everything else in the country will follow. And he said that there is a list of a list of actions that they want Sandiaga to undertake, and that is reopen the border and restore direct international flights to Bali. There are no international flights to Bali. Right now, nobody's coming into Indonesia. Well, nobody except certain people. Diplomats can still get in. Yeah, it's tough. There's been a delay, so people that are have been coming in on the V211 have been stopped for a while, from what I understand. But again, it looks like some people are coming in because I saw a thing the other day, yesterday, about the quarantine issues in Jakarta. So things are very fluid here. You really have to keep up day to day on this. There's just something is regulation is issued and then it's modified the next day. So if I was outside and I wanted to come back to Bali, I would put it off right now, to tell you the truth. It just seems like such a hassle. I don't know why people are so hell-bent on getting in here unless you have family and you want to get in which case you should have some special dispensation from the government under the Reuniting Families program. And so what he also wants Pak Sandiaga to restructure the tourism sector's debt for the coming years, because a lot of people are in debt. Some places have been trying to stay open and keeping people on part-time, even though there's not a lot of work to do. And so restructuring the debt would really help a lot of businesses here. And he wants external aid for tourism workers that have been extend aid, not external aid, extend aid to tourism workers left unemployed or working part-time because of the pandemic. And so the new tourism minister, he has a lot of stuff to do. Everybody wants to get Bali going again. But right now, it's just not happening. And so on New Year's, we had the ban on fireworks. Boy, there were fireworks all over Singaraja. Not official fireworks, the government fireworks down at the harbor right by my house did not happen. But I went up on the roof at midnight and I can see the whole city from here, and there were fireworks going on everywhere. So local people were doing their own things. And that's pretty much the way things go here. Okay, let's go on to schools. So I mentioned schools. So Denpasar had first said that they were going to, Denpasar and Badung, that they were going to do online schooling because of the COVID-19 situation. They were not going to do face-to-face learning. And then just recently, Singaraja, Bulalang, decided that they were going to keep schools closed, and they could be closed for face-to-face learning as long as June, when this new semester, which just started today for my granddaughter, just as I was going downstairs, I saw her run up, give me a hug, and say, "Grandpa, Grandpa, I have school." Okay, and so her Uncle Sam is helping her with school today. So she's back studying, and unfortunately, it could be a long haul. Now, so Bulalang had already decided, and Badung had already decided, and Denpasar had already decided, and then Bali said that they were going to open up their schools for face-to-face learning, and I think Klungkung too. And they were going to do the face-to-face learning along with following the protocols, the health protocols. But this new government regulation has shut down schools, so everybody is doing online schooling throughout the island. And so that is not good news, unfortunately. Okay, so when people say, yeah, Bali is, Bali's cool, foreigners get here, oh, Bali's cool, no problem. It is a problem. If you live here, not as a digital nomad, not as a tourist, if you live here, you have family here, you've got kids or grandkids, yeah, we're being affected. The schooling is a big deal, and it is a problem. Okay, so what next? Let's talk about the minimum wage. So this happened actually. This is a kind of an old one. This happened a few months ago, but it's important for foreigners planning to move here who employ people. The minimum wage is unchanged for 2021, still the same as 2020 because of COVID-19. There's no increase, and the Indonesian workers unions want an increase. but that does not look like it's going to happen. And so that is really unfortunate for workers. I guess good for businesses that are pressed these days. Okay, so yeah, sorry that the New Year report is so gloomy, but it is. And what about the vaccine? Okay, so let's talk about the vaccine. I was talking to my daughter, my oldest daughter today. I have 3 daughters. My oldest daughter today is a nurse in Jakarta, as you probably know if you've seen any of these reports before. And she said, yeah, the vaccine is there, and they're going to be giving it out to the health workers. And so, as I mentioned in the last one or 2 videos ago, we've got 3 million doses here, and goes to the healthcare workers first. Now, according to a report in Al Jazeera, and there are a couple of other sources as well, Indonesia is going to start mass COVID-19 vaccinations on January 13th, which is what my daughter told me too. And Pak Jokowi is supposed to get the first shot using the Sinovac Biotech vaccine, often called locally the China vaccine. Indonesia's health minister, Pak Gunadi, said that the vaccinations will begin in Jakarta and the 13th, and then start in other regions on the 14th and the 15th. And the vaccine is called the CoronaVac, and that's the Sinovac or the China vaccine. Now, there's these reports it's going to start on the 13th, but the BPOM, the Indonesian Food and Drug Authority, has yet to approve the emergency use of the COVID-19 vaccines. So I'm not sure how this is happening. You've got the health minister saying one thing, and the BPOM has not approved this yet as of right now, unless some breaking news has come out. And to tell you the truth, I've been focused all day on what's been going on in the U.S., and finally, the U.S. election has been settled. Biden and Kamala Harris are now officially president and vice president-elect. So I've been focused more on that than on anything else today. So the BPOM has yet to approve the emergency use, so I'm not sure how that's going to happen. But I guess we'll find out in the coming days. And Indonesia has a contract for 125.5 million doses of the China vaccine. And as I said, we've got 3 million already. Indonesia is also going to get vaccines from Pfizer, BioNTech, and AstraZeneca. And the vaccine is free. And this whole program, rolling out the vaccine, is expected to take 12 to 15 months. The goal is to get 70% of the population vaccinated to create this herd immunity. And while most other countries have got the elderly up in the top there, of people getting it, in Indonesia, us old people, well, we're not up there. The priority is going to be for the working age population, the people in the 18 to 59 group, because they're more active, more social, they travel more of a possibility for them to spread the virus, and so if us old people get it, I guess we're just going to die. And Bali has received its first batch of vaccines yesterday. 31,000 doses of the Sinovac vaccine, and the idea here is that they want to get 70% of Bali's population vaccinated so the island can open up. All right, everything's about opening the island up. And Bali's health agency said that about 2.7 million people of our population here belong to the working age group, and about 30,000 of those are health workers. So we got 31,000 doses. Well, that's just to get started. We got a long way to go. We're going to get 2.7 million. 31,000 doses and double dose. So we need a lot more vaccines, but we do have 31,000 here, and so we'll see what happens. And yeah, so that's the vaccine. And are people going to take the vaccine? I don't know. There's still a lot of resistance to the vaccine. A lot of people don't want to take it, even though it's free. A lot of people that I've talked to said, yeah, I'll take it if it comes from the U.S., it comes from Germany, it comes from anywhere, but still this thing about China. And so we'll see what's going to happen. 13th is not that long away, right? Okay, and let's end up on something kind of upscale, positive, okay? If coming to Indonesia, eat chili peppers. Okay, according to a large-scale study, regularly eating chili peppers may help lengthen people's lives. Okay, now, I eat a lot of chili peppers, and I'm 71, I'm still here. Maybe that's because of the chili peppers, who knows? So, according to one of the researchers quoted in this article, link is down below, chili eaters have a significantly reduced risk of dying from cardiovascular disease or cancer. Okay, both things that people my age need to think about. Previous research has found that eating chilies has an anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, anti-cancer, and blood glucose regulating effect. And this study accessed a number of databases that comprise more than 570,000 people in the US, Italy, China, and Iran. And they compared those who rarely or never ate chilies with people who ate chilies regularly, and they found that 26% relative reduction in cardiovascular mortality, 23% relative reduction in cancer mortality, 25% relative reduction in all causes mortality. However, one of the researchers noted, okay, there's always a however, one of the researchers noted the exact reasons and mechanisms that might explain these findings are currently unknown. So there can be other factors involved here, is what he's saying, and therefore it is impossible to conclusively say that eating more chili peppers can prolong life and reduce death, especially from cardiovascular factors or cancer. He noted more research is needed, and that's that. Okay, but if you like chili peppers, well, I love chili peppers, and if they're good for you, well, that's an added benefit. Okay, and that's it. I want to make this as short as possible. If you want to come, hang loose, keep watching the news. You can watch here. If things open up, boy, I'll do like a dozen videos about coming back. And be careful, stay safe, and be kind to someone today. Thanks for viewing, and if you like this, a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and see you next time.